On Tuesday night, the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that former President Donald Trump was ineligible to be on the ballot in that state in 2024. The 4-3 ruling found that Trump engaged in an insurrection, and under the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, he was banned from serving. And indeed, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment does say that anyone who is engaged in insurrection against the United States is ineligible to serve in any elected office. But what is insurrection? The anti-Trump people have been throwing the word around since January 6th. The pro-Trump people say that January 6th was not an insurrection at all. Who's right? Insurrection is defined by U.S. law as a violent uprising by a group or movement acting for the specific purpose of overthrowing the constituted government and take possession of its inherent powers. Okay, so it's pretty clear that those who directly engaged in the January 6th attack on the Capitol were engaged in an insurrection. It was a violent uprising. I mean, people were killed and seriously injured. The purpose of storming the Capitol was to stop the electoral votes from being counted. That's a clear effort to seize the power of the government. But what about Trump? Yes, he tried to stop the electoral count, but only by putting pressure on his vice president. He didn't engage in violence, he didn't put on a buffalo costume and steal podiums from the building, and no court has convicted him of anything, including insurrection. He was undoubtedly the inspiration for the insurrection. Anti-Trump people like to say he incited the riot, which would be illegal. Incitement is defined by the U.S. Code as someone who tries to organize, promote, encourage, participate in, or carry on a riot, urging or instigating other persons to riot, but shall not be deemed to mean the mere oral or written advocacy of ideas or expression of belief. In his speech that day, Trump never told people to go attack the Capitol. He didn't organize the riot. He didn't promote it. He said, go march to the Capitol, but do it peacefully.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Like I said, he wasn't personally involved in the riot. He was sitting on his fat butt in the White House watching Fox News and tweeting. You can make a pretty strong argument that all Trump was doing was advocating ideas. The idea being that the 2020 election was stolen. This was false, and the evidence points to Trump knowing it was false, but still, you have the right to put any crazy idea out there that you want to. It's part of free speech. Yes, he encouraged Congress to reject electors, but you're allowed to encourage them to do anything you want, whether you're president or not. He tried to install fake electors. It's still unclear whether that's against the law or not, but again, he hasn't been convicted of anything. As much as I dislike Trump, I don't think the Colorado Supreme Court is on very solid footing here. I actually think that there's a good chance that the U.S. Supreme Court overwhelmingly overturns this ruling, like possibly 9-0. Not just based on the fact that this could open the floodgates to all sorts of efforts to knock people off ballots in the future, but also because this could potentially be seen as disenfranchising voters by not allowing them to vote for someone who by all accounts qualifies for the ballot. If you meet the criteria to get on the ballot, or if your party nominates you to be on the ballot, by kicking you off, you are depriving people the right to vote for the candidate of their choice. Then again, the Constitution also limits who can run. Non-natural born citizens, people under a certain age, yeah, insurrectionists. Are those limits disenfranchising voters by preventing them from voting for the candidate of their choice? It's really unfortunate that some Americans on both sides have lost faith in democracy. On the right, thanks to Trump, they're convinced that elections are being stolen. Myths of massive voter fraud have taken hold in the MAGA movement simply because Trump says so. On the Democrat side, they believe that if Trump wins in 2024, he could end democracy as we know it. I don't know. That seems unlikely. Trump wasn't even able to build a freaking wall, so the idea that he's capable of destroying a democracy that has survived the Civil War is a bit far-fetched. Whatever you think of this ruling, if people lose faith in the electoral process and start to view our leaders as illegitimate or believe that the system doesn't work, it's game over. You can't have a democratic republic if people don't think the system is democratic. If that happens, the republic is too banana-like to function properly. In my view, Trump should not be prevented by the courts from appearing on the ballot. He should be prevented from living in the White House by the voters. I'm Dan Joseph. Please subscribe to my channel by clicking the little red widget down below. Give me a thumbs up and comment if you have something to say. I'll see you next time.